The serial position effect is a cognitive phenomenon where people are more likely to remember the first and last items in a list, while the middle items are often forgotten. This occurs due to two key mechanisms, the primacy effect and the recency effect. The primacy effect happens because the first items are rehearsed more in our minds, making them easier to transfer into long-term memory. Meanwhile, the recency effect occurs because the last items are still fresh in short-term memory when recall is required. This effect explains why you might remember the beginning and end of a conversation or a presentation more vividly than the middle part. Cognitive dissonance is a psychological theory proposed by Leon Festinger, which suggests that when a person holds two contradictory beliefs or engages in behavior that conflicts with their beliefs, it creates an uncomfortable state of tension or discomfort. For example, if someone values health but smokes, they experience dissonance. To resolve this discomfort, they might change their behavior, quit smoking, change their belief, convince themselves smoking isn't that harmful, or add new cognitions, rationalize that smoking reduces stress, which is also unhealthy. This theory explains how people are motivated to maintain internal consistency between their beliefs, attitudes, and actions. The facial feedback hypothesis posits that facial expressions can influence emotional experiences, not just reflect them. For example, forcing a smile can actually make you feel happier, even if you were not initially in a good mood. This occurs because facial expressions send feedback to the brain about the emotional state. When you smile, it signals the brain to release endorphins and dopamine, which are associated with feelings of happiness. Similarly, frowning can reinforce feelings of sadness or anger. This hypothesis highlights the connection between our physical expressions and emotional states, suggesting that changing your facial expression can alter your mood. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in the brain's reward system. It is often referred to as the feel-good chemical because it is released during pleasurable activities such as eating, exercising, or achieving a goal. When dopamine is released, it creates a sense of pleasure and satisfaction, reinforcing the behavior that led to its release. This reinforcement mechanism is essential for survival, as it encourages behaviors that are beneficial, like eating and socializing. However, dopamine also plays a role in addiction, as substances like drugs and alcohol can artificially increase dopamine levels, leading to repeated behaviors and dependency. The halo effect is a cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person influences how we perceive their specific traits. For example, if someone is physically attractive, we might also assume they are intelligent, kind, and competent, even without evidence. This bias occurs because our brains prefer to make quick judgments, and a positive overall impression leads us to associate other positive characteristics with the individual. The halo effect can be seen in many areas, such as hiring practices, where attractive or charismatic candidates are often perceived as more qualified. It highlights the importance of being aware of our biases when evaluating others. In the 1950s, psychologist Solomon Asch conducted a series of experiments to study conformity. In these experiments, participants were asked to match the length of a line to one of 3 comparison lines. Unbeknownst to the real participant, the others in the group were Confederates who deliberately chose the wrong line. Asch found that the real participant often conformed to the group's incorrect choice, even when it was obviously wrong. This demonstrated the powerful influence of social pressure and the desire to fit in, leading individuals to conform to group opinions even when they contradict their own perceptions and beliefs. The spotlight effect is a cognitive bias that leads people to believe they are being noticed by others more than they actually are. For instance, if you make a mistake or wear something unusual, you might feel like everyone is paying attention to it, when in reality, most people are too focused on their own concerns to notice. This effect occurs because we are the center of our own world, so it's easy to overestimate the extent to which others are focused on us. Understanding the spotlight effect can help reduce anxiety and self-consciousness, as it reminds us that people are often less observant than we think.